What's your favorite hat? I'm a hat guy. In fact, I probably own a ridiculous amount of hats.
Oh my.
Pretty neat, huh?
Eric, when you said a lot, I was expecting like 20.
Oh, no. I have more than that.
You wear all these?
Sure.
Now, not quite as many as Eric from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Trying, I'm not getting there, I'm not there yet, but quite possibly just a ridiculous number of hats. Not just ball caps either. Cowboy hats, beanie caps, fedoras, flap caps, my brother's Dixie cup from the Navy, my old beret, my service cap, a jester's hat. I even have a hand-knitted fedora with jokers sewn all the way around the vertical portion of the hat, and way more hats than that even. We won't even get into like bandanas and motorcycle helmets and things like that, and just actual pure number of ball caps, which is also a ridiculous number. I'm not even sure why I have so many hats, to be honest. I've collected them over the years and miles, and I just don't ever get rid of them. I have some really old hats while I'm thinking about it. So, why am I talking about hats? Well, in this episode, we're going to delve into your hats and how a simple exercise can change everything in your life just by changing your hat. Let's get into it. Here's the $1,000,000 question. How do men like us reach our full potential, grow into the men we dream of being, while taking care of our responsibilities, working, being good husbands, fathers, and still take care of ourselves? Well, that's the big question. In this podcast, we'll help you answer those questions and more. My name is Brent, and welcome to the Fallible Man podcast. I truly believe you can change the world with the right headgear. I was inspired by my conversation with Juan Alvarado earlier this week to explore this idea just a little bit further because we touched on it briefly in our conversation. Now, I have worked with a lot of headgear in my life. I ride a motorcycle, so I have motorcycle helmets. I've had hard hats. I've had service caps. I've had all kinds of headgear for work. A deep sea diver wouldn't fare well if they showed up to dive with a fireman's helmet on, right? Quarterback would look pretty stupid with a diver's helmet on during a game, and I'm pretty sure throwing a pass like that would be near impossible. And if you show up to the office in a football helmet, well, there might be some questions asked of you. By the way, my name's Brent, and welcome to the Fallible Man podcast, your home for all things man. Big shout out to Fallible Nation. That's our private community, and there's links to that in the description below. And a warm welcome to our first-time listeners. Hey, we know there is a lot out there fighting for your attention, so thanks for checking us out. I'd love to hear what you think of the show, so be sure and follow me at the Fallible Man. On Instagram is my main platform, but most other platforms. I'd love to hear what you think of the show, so be sure and DM me and let me know. Or if you really enjoy it, leave us a review. That'd be great. But anyways, thanks for checking us out with all the noise. I hope you enjoy the show. And here I am still rambling about hats. What gives, right? Well, let's take a step out of literally and into the metaphorical, shall we? You wear a lot of hats in your life. A lot. Employee, boss, leader, follower, husband, friend, dad, community member, coach, provider, seeker, explorer, judge, cop, jury, referee, and probably a whole lot more you don't even realize. What happens when you wear the wrong hat, since we're talking metaphorically? Well, have you ever worn the employer boss hat? That's air quotes for all of you listening. When you're trying to communicate with your spouse. Or maybe that same employer boss hat when dealing with your kids. Have you ever gone to dinner with friends without your children, if you have children, and still worn that parent hat while you're out trying to have a conversation with actual adults? I'm pretty sure most of you listening can identify with at least one of those scenarios. Did it go the way you imagined or really thought it should? Did that work for you? Or like a lot of us, did that have some really disastrous implications? I will tell you as a husband, talking to your spouse with the wrong hat on can be a game ender if you're not careful. So I've been a coach for different sports in the past. Coached basketball and soccer and a few other sports over my lifetime. And I know a lot of parents who put on the coach, air quote, hat when they're in their stands and the kids are playing a sport. Well, they won't actually step up and coach a team necessarily. But man, do they have all the right answers? I'm sorry for the referees. I had to work with those guys too. We tend to wear a judge hat a lot, probably a whole lot more than any of us should, and judge other people from our perspective. When maybe we should try some understanding and a little compassion, right? A little gentleness somewhere. I'm not sure what the headwear is for gentleness. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. So, when you change situations, whether you're walking through the front door after work, or maybe into the grocery store on a quick run to get some milk after church or something, or even into the gym, you can avoid awkward and potentially explosive interactions by taking 5 seconds to evaluate which hat you're wearing and if you need to change it before you respond to the person or situation. Now, let me be silly again for a minute. If you really need to break this in for you, like if this seems a little too abstract, seriously, reach up and take your hat off. Pretend you're taking a hat off and put the right hat on. These interrupts will help you avoid a bad situation. If you need to physically pretend to switch hats until you get it down, it's better to look a little silly than to blow an interaction that could be really important, however, have major ramifications. The fact is, a lot of times we go into interactions with people with the wrong hat on, but it can easily be avoided. We've talked about responding versus reacting in the past on this show. And you guys should go back and catch that short video if you want to, or audio, or whatever platform you listen to the show on. You guys should go back and check that short episode. It was pretty short. But this is the next stage, okay, of separating reaction versus response. It is honestly better to walk up to your front door and mimic or pretend. I know we don't pretend very well anymore as adults. Pretend you're taking off your work hat and reach over and pick up that spouse hat or that friend or that roommate hat or that father hat and put it on your head. As silly as it seems, this interrupt will help you switch mindsets and get into a better frame of mind for interacting with people and situations beyond that door. This can apply to going to work, going anywhere you go, honestly, going to dinner with friends. We all wear a bunch of different hats, and sometimes we're wearing the wrong one to really have the conversations that we want to or the interactions we want to. It's a simple trick, guys. I'm not going to beat it to death. It is Friday, so I want to shout out one of our listeners, Paul B. in San Francisco from the United States. Left us a 5-star review, good affirming talks on how to be a better man. This is a frank podcast with specific steps for better self-image and positivity. Paul, thank you so much. I appreciate you leaving us a review. That really, really helps us on Apple Podcasts and get more exposure for the show. If you want to hear your review left, you have to A, leave us a review, right? And B, then I'll pick through them. I have lots of them. But I can't thank you guys enough. It means so much to us when you go out of your way and leave us a review, because it really does help us get the show out there a little farther. Now, guys, it may be a little silly talking about different hats. I like to be a little lighthearted. I'm not funny, but I do like to be a little bit silly. Wearing the wrong hat can really complicate everything drastically. So let's all try changing our metaphorical hat for the better. I promise you, you will be surprised what a difference this little mental exercise can have. Now, I want to announce something. You are the first to hear it. It's February 2024 right now, and this month we're having a contest. This is the first time we've ever put on a contest like this, and here are the rules. Follow me on Instagram, leave us a review on a podcast platform and join one of our 2 mailing lists. Doesn't have to be both, just 1 or 2. Then let me know by sending me proof to info@thefallibleman.com with a subject line, sweatshirt. We will draw 1 lucky winner and send them a free Fallible Man podcast, swag sweatshirt, and maybe a little more. You'll have to wait and see. For going through it, we appreciate our fans. We love you guys. You are why we do this show, and I've enjoyed doing it for several years. We're in season 5. I figured it was long past due for me putting on a promotion like this or a contest like this for all of my incredible listeners. We had thousands upon thousands of downloads a month, and it's all because you guys are amazing. And so I wanted to do something for you guys. So check it out. I'll have the rules below on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Guys, change the hat for the situation. It will change your life. I promise. Be better tomorrow because of what you do today, and we'll see you on the next one.
This has been the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for everything man, husband, and father. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a show. Head over to www.thefallibleman.com for more content and get your own Fallible Man gear.